absolutely delighted to welcome Richie Burns, Graham Clow and Matt Smith, who together are the 60's Explosion. How are you guys?
We're fine. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's lovely to see you guys. So before we talk about that, let's find out a bit about what led you to this point. So I think Richie first, tell me how you got into playing the drums.
Right, well, I had a drum kit when I was 6 years of age and drove my parents' potty. As you can imagine, with a drum kit, when they rather I had a guitar, but no, drums was for me. So I started off at 6 years of age. At the age of about 11, I started having lessons, learned to read, went to various jazz courses and things like that. Devon Youth Jazz Orchestra, Spell Big Band. At the age of 14 and 15, I was playing in a big band.
Wow, so that's really young actually, isn't it, to have gotten started? And was it your choice when you were 6? Did you ask for a drum kit?
I did, yeah. Apparently I wanted a drum kit when I was 3, younger than that.
So it's just always been in you. And then this jazz as well, this kind of jazz training, because that's really technical, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, my parents were into the jazz thing, into, the Kenny Balls and Acapulcs. They were into all that sort of music. And I sort of grew up with it, listened to it, liked it.
Did you play with Acapulc?
I did, yeah. As a depth drummer, I was a depth for their drummer very often, and Kenny Ball's drummer as well.
So that's pretty awesome going, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
Well, I met Ron Bowden, who was Kenny Ball's drummer. I was doing a residency in a hotel, and the Ball band used to come there a couple of times a year, and got to know Ron. And one day he phoned up and he said he knew I'd played a lot of jazz, and he said, "Can you depth for me?" And I thought he was joking, to be honest with you.
Oh.
And I said, "No, Ron, be serious." He said, "No, I am." He said, "Can you depth for me?" And it was about 15 gigs all around the country with this 100-mile-an-hour jazz band, because they played everything at breakneck tempo. And I can remember doing the first gig with them in Plymouth Pavilions at the age of 28, thinking, why did I say yes to this gig? Because I was very nervous. And
I should think you were. Such a challenge, but how brilliant for you to be able to, have that kind of experience.
Then moved on to the pop world, Pontins, the dreaded holiday parks we have to do sometimes. But we'll do them.
But actually, they're good, aren't they? They're so much fun.
Yeah.
And, and people love it, don't they? Your audience, the crowd, are really, they're just having a great time because they're on holiday.
Exactly, yeah. And it was 6 nights a week job, and it's regular income, and it was good fun. So.
And I guess this was all local as well for you, was it? Because you guys are down south, Yeah,
they were sort of Torquay, Painston, Brixton sort of area, those holiday parks there.
There was a lot then, wasn't
there? There was a lot back in the day, yeah.
Back in the day. So do you think that was more of a thing then than now?
Definitely,
yeah. I mean, you were guaranteed a 28-week summer season, which was a long time, and it gradually got less and less and less, and it was like, 10-week season, because they started to dry up and people go abroad, I suppose, for the sun or whatever.
Yeah, I suppose things changed. The package holiday came about, going abroad and getting everything all inclusive and that kind of thing. Yeah. So with the drumming, do you play other instruments as well, or have you always just stuck to the drums?
No, I just play the gramophone. That's all I play.
Good old-fashioned gramophone. Play your records.
These guys will tell you later on what I say. I'm just a drummer.
Well, there's no just about it.
He insists that he's just a drummer. He's got a voice of an angel, but he insists he's just a drummer.
Wow. Oh, I see. You have to tell me more about that as well in a bit. No, but that's fantastic, really. That kind of the technical side of being a jazz drummer. That's hard work, isn't it? That's a lot of ability and talent and drive goes into being able to accomplish that. So it's pretty awesome stuff, really, isn't it, Richie? Yeah, pretty awesome stuff. Shall we have let's go to you now, Graham. So kind of the same question to you, really, about what got you into playing the bass and how did that all come about?
To be honest with you, I've always had a craving for bass, even from a young age. But I initially started on guitar. My my uncle was a musician up in Salisbury, sort of dance bands at the time, and I'd shown an interest in guitar as a young child, but he gave me my first sort of proper guitar, an acoustic guitar, when I was about 12 years old, and it sort of took off from there. Really, I just got hooked on it, and so decided I wanted to be in a band. As of the year I was leaving school, we formed a band at school, started doing little local gigs, and it went from there. Really, I got a serious, proper electric guitar, and built up from there. So even my uncle used to play bass guitar as well. I mean, he used to make his own guitars actually, and I remember going to his house and seeing this bass there he'd made, and I was intrigued by the bass guitar. So I have had a hankering for bass, although I didn't actually sort of play it professionally till later years. But yeah, it's grew up similar to Rich actually. Ended up going into like Pontins, places like that, as a resident band, where you learn your craft. Especially back years ago, you have to learn to read as well, because you're backing cabarets that used to come in at the time.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that kind of thing could be at a moment's notice. You've just got to perform, haven't you? And
yeah, you go in for like you go for a band call with them, and they throw this music in front of you. So I learned to lead to an ability to do that fairly quickly, actually. But it's something that doesn't happen now really so much. It's a shame, because I quite enjoyed that. We get some nice acts in,
Yeah.
So did that for many years, and I know myself and Rich came from Exeter, both of us.
I knew him before he was born.
Yeah.
Isn't that so?
We've always kept in touch, in past and various bands, but
I suppose that's the way it works as well in the music scene. If you were playing sort of the clubs and the holiday clubs as well, you kind of, have those connections.
Yeah, you always, people will mention to you, a drummer, and obviously I prefer Richard and vice versa, really. So there's a lot about who you know, and
yeah, and and how well you work together as well.
Yeah, we earlier on we passed in bands, but we haven't. I think this is the longest we worked together.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But it's great. We sort of, I know what he's going to do. He knows what I'm going to do, which
I
helps.
I love that. Yeah, that's a really nice magic, isn't it, on the stage? You have to lock in. It's really important, sort of the bassist and the drummer, to get that kind of, that groove.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that, playing bass, actually, because, I mean, being out on guitar, it's nice sometimes to be out there in the limelight.
Yes,
but I also like sitting on the groove at the back, like say working with the drummer is great.
And he is a drummer's bass player, that's what I need.
Yeah.
I need it, and he needs me. So
well, I love that. Yeah, and then you work perfectly together, and there's a real magic there. And then let's talk to the youngster now, shall we? So, where's he?
Hey, hello.
So young Matt there now. So this is interesting, because obviously, like Graham and Rich have known each other for years and years and years, and kind of sort of before he was born and all of those things. But the interesting story I want to know is then how you kind of connected with these guys.
So, well, my how do you go there? Right. Yeah. So my dad's a cabaret singer, and he has been, for years. And as you say, you work in the music industry, and especially in the local industry, you get to sort of know everyone as it sort of goes by, and you got certain people who just everyone seems to know. Well, that particular person was this guy here, and I was working in a hotel as almost like a kind of like a private. I like to call it almost like a budget Butlins kind of thing, where it's sort of like a private kind of hotel thing.
Yeah.
And I'd always been doing bits and pieces with that, and doing sort of shows and things like that. And we happened to be doing a 50's tribute show, as we do, many other shows, but that was the one that we were doing. And I always used to do like a Buddy Holly thing.
Yes.
So I would go in and I'd do the Buddy Holly bit, put the glasses on, we'd finish up, and then him and a duo that he was in with a woman called Amanda would be doing the slot directly afterwards. And my guitar just happened to be plugged in at the same time that he was playing, and then he was doing something like Rockin' All Over the World, and as a bit of sneakiness, I decided to harmonise over the top with the guitar. And at that point, he's going.
Suddenly, I thought I was a better player than I actually was.
So he went, do you know that one? I went, well, I could just sort of pick it up. And he goes, oh, okay, all right, fine, fair enough. And then about a couple of weeks later, he called me up. He says, you pick stuff up really quickly, don't you? I went, I seem to. He goes, would you mind coming in and helping us out with some things? I went, yeah, okay, I can give it a go. And he went, yeah, all right. And that just happened to be the 60's explosion, and now I'm here.
Wow, nice one, Matt. That's amazing, really, isn't it? Because you just sort of were a bit cheeky there and joining in and having a go, and then it's led.
Well, you never know. You never know. It's always everything that we do is sort of bedded in a little bit of fun, really. You know, we never really take ourselves too seriously, but it's sort of started with that, and I guess that kind of led into what this is now. So
I like to call that talent with personality.
I'll take that.
Yeah, that's what we like.
I'm gonna have that on my CV. Thanks very much.
Stick that on there. Stick it on. Yeah. Quote.
I clocked. Sorry.
What's that? Sorry.
I was just saying I clocked how good a player he was actually. So he was the obvious class for the if you want to do the job.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Yeah, you just heard him and thought, yeah, he'll work perfectly. And Matt, you were saying that your dad, so he's in the business and like what cabaret lead, and were you so you must have been brought up then on music.
Yeah, absolutely.
So was it a similar thing that you had a guitar and was singing sort of from a young age and had lessons and things?
Sort of. So so I think literally some of my earliest memories are watching my dad, perform on stage. I mean, he's sort of doing a local pub thing. He didn't really do many sort of, he didn't do sort of many sort of holiday parks on his and like Butlins and sort of going international and stuff. But he did do like one or two things. Like he supported Will Smith when he was still the Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff and Charlotte Church and all those kind of people. Wow. So he did have like sort of moments of that. But I just remember sort of like the first thing that I ever wanted to be. I think, when you're that young and you watch something like that, I think, that's what I want to do. But I wanted to be a singer. That was my sort of goal. I kind of wanted to be a singer. But I put him in such high regard. I thought, that ain't sort of really going to happen. But just one day when I was at primary school, there was a leaflet went out saying guitar lessons are being offered. Does anyone want to take them? I thought, yeah, why not? Because Dad's always had a little acoustic guitar that he had sort of about. He could play Rocky Mountain Way on it, and that was about it. And he went, okay, all right. And I started doing it, and I just seemed to be sort of picking it up a little bit faster than everyone else in the classes. And I just sort of kept going and kept going and kept going until eventually I'm now 20 years of playing the guitar now. So
even though you're a young'un, you've been playing for an awful long time, really, when you look at it like that.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what's quite amazing, really, is if you do start at a young age and you have those lessons and then you're really disciplined about it. And obviously, you've got an artistic flair, but you start learning. It's really good grounding, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it definitely sort of sets you on the right thing. If you kind of figure it out, especially when you're in a room full of people and people start listening to you and people start watching you, I think everyone in their life has tried picking up some sort of musical instrument. Everyone gives it a go, somewhere down the line, even if it's just singing in the shower. Yeah. But they kind of sort of, you can kind of take your measurement from whether or not if you think you've got something, they sort of go from there, and you kind of go from there and just sort of think, okay, I must have something here. I'll just sort of carry on.
Yeah, and you've got to have that passion as well, haven't you, to want to do it too, and that kind of makes you the master of your craft, I guess, as well, doesn't it? Yeah,
exactly. And I think it's you find out it's like they say, if you love your job, it's not a job.
Yeah, that's it.
And I love what I do, so it's I won't ever consider it being a chore to sort of sit down and learn to practice something.
And what is lovely as well is seeing you guys on stage. I haven't seen you with the 60's explosion yet, but obviously I've seen you on stage with the Search's experience, and you really look like you're having a great time, and obviously then that translates, and the audience can feel that energy. You know, it's not like a band who are going through the motions, it's a band who are really enjoying what they do, and they're doing it so well. It's lovely to see.
Absolutely.
That rubs off on the crowd as well.
It does, yeah, because then, you know, you give us that energy.
And it's not necessarily what you do, it's the way you do it, and there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the 60s explosion then, because that itself, I just love the name. Who came up with that name first?
Right, well, the 60s explosion was formed about 12 years ago by a guy called Tony Carey and a bass player, Kevin Fairburn. They were looking for a drummer at the time, and I was floating around looking for some work. And I said, I'll have a go at that. And so Tony came up with the name, the 60s Explosion, and put the band together, rehearsed a few times, did a load of gigs, just gradually built it up. And as time went on, Kevin decided, he had a good day job, Kevin. He was a salesman of some Mark bass gear or something, and he wanted to carry on doing that, so he left. I think that's when you came in, didn't you?
I think so, yeah.
And Graham came in. So Kevin was with us about 5 years, something like 5, 6 years. Then Tony decided we went on the Solid Gold 60s tour, and Tony, bless him, he couldn't hack it. It was not for him, living out of a suitcase for 40 days in a van, and he just decided, I've had enough.
It is a lifestyle choice in that sense, isn't it? Yeah.
So we had another guy join us for about 20 minutes. We had another guy join us, and it didn't quite work out with him, so he decided he was going to go, and that's when we got Matt. So, but yeah, that's how it all started, really. And
you do some fabulous gigs, don't you? Haven't you just come back off of a cruise?
Yeah, we just come back from where did we go? Tenerife.
Tenerife.
That's why we're all looking a bit burnt.
You look sun-kissed and healthy, and actually, you've come back to sunshine as well, haven't you? Which is pretty unusual for this time of year.
I remember the captain over the tannoy saying, after a couple of days going on, blaring sunshine over the Mediterranean, and he says, it's foggy and it's windy. Welcome home.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But
and you do a lot of stuff like that as well, don't you? You kind of go and you do a lot of like the nice sort of Warner leisure sort of holiday places as well, and perform there.
Yeah, we do the Warners, we do Butlins, we do a lot for Ray Martin at BCM. He gives us loads of work, and it's only 3 of us, but we're a hard-working band. We go. We don't bat an eyelid to drive from Devon to Scotland and do a gig. It doesn't bother us.
No, I've noticed. And we must talk about your van as well. Like, that is amazing how you can get everything all packed in, and you've got the logistics down, haven't you, with that?
That's something you've seen, isn't it?
It's
That's
amazing.
my job.
Yeah. And you're the driver as well each time, Richie, or do you divide it up?
No, I do all the driving, all of it.
He likes to drive.
I like driving, so.
Yeah,
I
you don't
think nothing of
mind.
driving from Exeter to Skegness to do a gig and drive back again.
No.
700 miles in a day. It doesn't bother me.
I mean, some people might think that's bonkers, but that's all part and parcel, really, of a working band, and you're used to it. And I guess you have a roadmap in your mind's eye.
Oh, believe me, it is bonkers. It is.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It is bonkers, 100%. But we will do a gig, and we will, like we say, Skegness is one of the big offenders, and we'll go and we'll do that one. You've got to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning in order to be able to get yourself up there, and then we'll do it. We'll finish up at 11 o'clock, and then he'll go to us. He'll say, "Should I just drive back?" He says, "Well, we've got something sorted out here. We can stay." I said, let's drive back if you're okay with it. And we'll look at each other and go, he's mental.
But it's easier at night. I find it a lot easier at night when there's no traffic in it, although the motorways are all shut, as you probably know.
Well, yes, yeah.
Diversions, but it's still easier to get back. In fact, we've got an agent who, I'll name him Ray. He said one day he booked us into, I think it was Hunstanton, and then he sent us down to Folkestone, and then he said, on the way home, can you do Skegness? And I said, well, it's hardly on the way home, is it? And then he looked at me and he said, well, it is if you go that way. That's what we did. We were up and down the country like that. We did 31,000 road miles last year.
I mean, that's insane, but kind of cool as well, actually, isn't it? And that band just keeps going then, doesn't it? Very reliable.
It's the fourth member of the band, as he likes to
say. Yeah, he gets paid as well, and he's called Linford because he's just friends. Trying to work that one out.
And it's quite nice to get home and have your own bed.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it's like you say, there's less traffic, even though there's always roadworks. There's going to be roadworks all the time. And then you've got the day then to yourself in sunny Somerset then, all ready to get yourself up and packed and off to the next destination maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. With the you play in other bands apart from the 60's Explosion. Haven't you started like another decade of an explosion as well?
Yeah, we've just got we've been asked to do a load of 70s stuff, so we're now going to be the 70s Explosion as well. And we also run a little band on the back, like a party band called Brooklyn, which plays everything, 60s, 70s, 80s.
That's a lot of fun as well, isn't it?
If we do, then it's not past me.
So some 90s, yeah. That's mainly a sort of a holiday park band, party band, doing.
Yeah, so you can kind of book that in around doing all of these 60s Explosion, 70s Explosion, and those sort of.
It's a summer filler. When there's families that want a lot of things, then that's something that we can just. It's easy to do because, like you say, we do the 60s, but we do the 70s. We're doing good work on the 70s stuff, and we've got a couple of 80s stuff that we just sort of try out and give it a go. So you just pick and choose the best stuff out of that one, and then you make Brooklyn, and it just works really well. So. You don't have extra members to sort of work about. It's just us three, and it seems to work really well. So
that is quite magical, really, to just have the three of you, because combining people's diaries and calendars, and particularly if people are in other bands as well, it's pretty good how you've got just this close knit trio, and you make it sound amazing too.
Yeah, it's the you do have to sort of. Obviously, you have to put your priorities down, as you would with so many things. You could say, because obviously we get brilliant work, and we cannot complain about some of the things that we get. When you think about it in perspective, it's amazing. It can be absolutely amazing, some of the stuff we get. So why would any of us really want to sort of give that away and risk that for anything else, really? So. We put our priorities down. If it works to do other bits and pieces, we all have done things where we've helped out another person or assisted with another band in some way. But once we all know what we're doing and we're all on that same kind of goal, it sort of all falls into line, really.
Yes, yeah, fabulous. Any highlights? There must be loads over the years with either this band or with. Any of the things that you've done, because you've all done some pretty awesome stuff. Can you think of like favourite moments? Richie, you first.
All right, favourite moment. Well, as you probably know, you do know, I'm the drummer with the Searchers as well as this band and the Searchers Experience. So I suppose a big highlight for me was playing at Glastonbury last year with John McNally, Frank Allen and Spencer James. That was amazing. There was 10,000 people in a tent.
Near that, near enough.
It must have been the best experience. And everybody really is a musician. If they get to play Glastonbury, then that has got to be, top of the list, really, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. I mean, I can remember, sitting there playing, and I was actually thinking of my cousin, because when I was a little kid, I'm sort of like a country boy, lived in the country. And my cousin and myself would go out on our bikes, and he was a little bit older than me. And Mark would be singing "Needles and Pins" riding on his bike, "Needles and Pins," and I'd be singing it as well because that was the music of the time.
Yeah.
And then I'm sat in Glastonbury playing to 9,000 people in a band with these two main original guys that actually sang it. And I was thinking of him, thinking, "Wow, what a journey from a kid on a push bike."
Would you have, at that time, if you'd have told your older self you would be doing that then? Must have been quite emotional.
Running pop band in history,
yes.
And it's amazing. That's great for me, but also in the jazz world, playing with Kenny Ball's band and playing with Acker Bilk's band. Some great gigs abroad in Germany, Poland, all over the world, really. And it's a great festivals I've played at. Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Wonderful
and also,
memories.
I can talk on behalf of these two guys that we did a gig one night with Spencer in a theatre. It was fantastic. And the next night we were down in Cornwall and we played in a very, very small room about the size of a doctor's surgery, as Matt describes it, to 20 people. And we had a great time. 23 people. It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was a fantastic gig.
Yeah.
So it just shows you it's not about the amount of people. It's not about how big the crowd is.
At the moment, the vibe,
yeah. It's great.
Who they are. Same question to you then, Graham.
There's many great gigs I've done. I personally love doing nice venues, and I've been privileged to be able to do, as Rich mentioned, when we did the 60's Gold Tour. We've done that a few years actually. You end up playing good venues, places like Glasgow Royal Concert Hall and Birmingham Symphony Hall, and they are stunning venues, and you get looked after well. So I love doing gigs in venues like that. It's places which your average band don't get to do. So there's
so much history in those places as well. It must make you that excited feeling in your belly when you go backstage and.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially places like the Palladium, and the Albert Hall. They're just stunning, It is places that the everyday person doesn't get to see, and so I feel very privileged to have been able to do that.
Yeah, how wonderful.
And it's worth saying that he's done a lot of he's worked with a lot of people beforehand as well. He's been as like a stage handle basically,
So did you do stuff with Dr. Hook?
Yeah, I used to be the stage manager for Dr. Hook, and we've done a world tour with them, and so got over to Australia and places like that, which obviously that was stunning. Doing arenas, that was over in Australia, so that's high on the list as well, obviously. And it was such a great band to work with. Everybody in it was fantastic. Because I do it as well as playing. I enjoy the technical side of it as well, so I've been able to do a few gigs like that, which is keeps me busy.
Keeps you busy, and it's kind of cool to do like the kind of backstage side, the backline stuff, and the stage management side as well as being on the stage, isn't it?
Yeah. And with the Hook thing, it was quite a big concern, so it had to be right, and it was a good show to be involved with. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. And Matt, what about you?
Well, obviously, I'm still quite fresh on the working with these guys is pretty much the first sort of big, big step up for what I've been doing. So I would pretty much, the two big ones have already really been mentioned. So one of them being Glasgow Concert Hall. That's one of the big ones, because that is, doing that 60's. I had the pleasure of being able to do that 60's Gold Tour twice, and so we both did it 2 times round. And it's one of those venues that doesn't just stop there. It goes up like that. So, the moment you walk out on stage, you expect the ceiling to be there, and then it's just, and it's near, if it's not sold out, it's near enough. So you're looking at, and it is just people. That's all you see is just people, and that's absolutely mental. And then the other one being, we were lucky enough to be able to be the stagehands and be some of the stage managers for the Glastonbury gig.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
So, not just doing that for on its own accord as well, but also meeting some of the people as well. We met Danny, George Harrison's son, and we briefly met Paul McCartney, and the singer from the Stranglers, and all those kind of people, and all these other acts that are sort of going on. I've got photos that I'm going to treasure forever, of us with Danny Harrison and things like that. So and obviously working with John McNally and Frank Allen, which doesn't happen every single day. So that's definitely for me my sort of big highlights.
Yeah,
as well. So.
Wonderful stuff. And if we wanted to connect with you to find out what you're up to next and your various different things, how do we do that, Richie?
Matt.
Oh, Matt, maybe Matt, yeah.
On that side.
Remember, I'm just the drummer. Remember.
Yeah, I'm the youth. So the main and right now the primary place that we go to is the 60's Explosion Facebook page. So that's where we kind of do everything, sort of run everything through. If we start going down the Instagram route and maybe start going down the TikTok route, I don't know yet. Well, that's something that I need to sort of figure out if I can make that work. Then we might
Facebook's
do
a good
that.
shout, though, I think.
Facebook's a very good shout. I mean, you see us, we're in black and white, and we're there as the 60's Explosion. And then if you look up the Searchers Experience band, we're also under that in brackets as well. So that's the main place to see everything that we kind of do.
Yeah, so all tour dates are on there, and also just like things that you're up to as well, photos, and we can connect with you and message and interact. So, and I think that's really nice as well, kind of get to know you.
We are like I say, we're a prat about band. We like to have a lot of fun. I mean, I think the latest photo we got is up there is him asleep on the
You didn't actually post that, did you?
No, yeah, we did. So he's only just finding out about this actually, so it's an exclusive. But yeah, no, we have a laugh on there, but we'll put up everything that if we're not doing it soon enough, we're pretty much doing it there and then. So you kind of see everything from there.
Rich is always posting. You'll know when he's in the band, you know. So
he's always snapping away.
Yeah.
In fact, when we did the cruise we've just been on, we did a gig the night before on the Monday. Then we took the van back to my house, parked that one up, locked it up, got in Matt's car, went to Gatwick. Was it Gatwick? Yeah,
Gatwick.
Flew to Tenerife. When we got there, we had to play that day. And by the time we'd gone to bed, we'd all been up 42 hours without any sleep. Only a bit of dozing on this aeroplane going over. But,
okay.
And then people say,
that's a gift.
Oh, it's great playing in a band.
People don't realise that actually there's so much involved, isn't there? It's
I mean, don't get me wrong, that isn't every day, but there are occasions where you do have to sort of suck it up and down as many Red Bulls as you possibly can in order to be able to make it work. But you get by. You know.
When's your next gig?
When's the next one?
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. Coming Saturday, yeah.
Where are you at?
Sussex, somewhere, is it Chichester?
I think so, yeah. West Sussex we've got it as. Currently, that's the Brooklyn.
Oh, yes, you're doing the party band stuff. Yeah.
And then Monday, we're going abroad again on Monday to the Isle of Wight.
Is that right? Is that with the 60's Explosion?
That's the 60's Explosion. Back across the water again.
And then we go to Spain.
And we go to Spain.
And we go to Spain.
Days.
Wow, fabulous. It just sounds like one non-stop holiday that you guys are having, actually. Well, it's been so interesting to chat with you. Thank you so much. I've learned so much more about you guys, and I really look forward to coming to see the 60's Explosion very soon.
You
absolutely.
Must.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.